Welcome to the lesson Getting Started with Azure DevOps, Creating Organizations, Projects, and Repositories. In this lesson, we have objectives that first we will explore the definition of Azure DevOps and we will look into a few of its offerings. Next, we will learn how to set up an organization in Azure DevOps and how to set up a project within that organization. Then we will dive into creating repositories using Azure Repos. Finally, we will gain some insight into the fundamentals of Git, and then we will clone the repository we just created. By the end of this lesson, you will have some foundation of Azure DevOps, including creating organizations, projects, repositories, and working with Git. So what is Azure DevOps? Azure DevOps is a comprehensive cloud-based platform that provides a wide range of tools and services to support a software development lifecycle. It offers features for planning, development, testing, and delivery of application. Whereas if you look into its offerings, Azure Repos is a version control system provided by Azure DevOps. It allows teams to securely store and manage their source code, enable collaboration and version control, and developers can effectively track changes, manage branches, and merge code seamlessly. If we talk about Azure Boards, Azure Board is a work tracking system that within Azure DevOps. It provides a flexible and customizable platform for teams to plan, track, and discuss work items. With Azure Boards, teams can manage their backlog, create user stories, assign tasks, and visualize progress through various agile boards. And Azure Pipeline is one of my favorites. Azure Pipeline is a powerful continuous integration and delivery platform offered by Azure DevOps. It enables teams to automate the building, testing, and development of their application across different platforms and environments. With Azure Pipelines, you can also define your pipelines as code and achieve efficient and reliable software delivery. Azure Test Plans, on the other hand, is a testing solution integrated into Azure DevOps. And then Azure Artifacts is a package management solution provided by Azure DevOps. It allows teams to create and manage repositories for storing and sharing packages such as NuGets, NPM, and Maven. Let's understand what is an organization and a project within Azure DevOps. An organization in Azure DevOps acts as a container for your project, teams, and resources. It provides a centralized space for managing your software development efforts. When you create an organization, you establish a unique environment where you can collaborate and manage your project effectively. But a project is actually within your organization, and you can create multiple projects within an organization. So if you see this slide in front of you, you can see that when you have an Azure DevOps account, you can actually create multiple organizations. And within one organization, you can have n number of projects. And for each project, you can have n number of repositories. So with whatever we have established by now, let's put it into practice. So to work on this project, I created a brand new account. It's patronsacademy@outlook.com. I suggest that if you are following along with this course, you create a dedicated account just for this purpose. So if I sign in on this account, you'll see that it has literally nothing in it. And using that account, I will go to dev.azure.com. And then when I'll go to this account, it will ask me for the region. I'll select United States. And then it will ask me to create an organization. So it will be the first and default organization. Let's call it Patrons. Let's call it Patrons Tech. And then since I'm located in Central US, I'll select Central US. And let me enter the CAPTCHA. This one is already taken. So let's call it Patrons Academy then. And let me put in the CAPTCHA. So now I am logged into Azure DevOps account using my Microsoft account, and by default, since I was logging in for the first time, it asked me to create an organization. If I want to create a new organization, I can always create a new organization from here. But since we already have an organization, using that, I will create my first project. So since we are building an application called the BB Bank, so let's name it BB Bank. So now we have access to the Azure DevOps offerings, the one we saw in the slides earlier. We have board, repos, pipeline, test plans, and artifacts. So in repos, by default, we will have a default repository called the BB Bank. And if we want to clone this repository, we are going to use Git. So what is Git? Git is a distributed version control system widely used in software development. It allows developers to track changes, collaborate, and manage different versions of code. Git supports commits, branching, and seamlessly merging of the code. So I'll say that understanding Git is crucial for efficient and effective software development. So let's see some of the basic commands of Git. So git clone, like we just created a repository, and we will use this command to clone our remote repository, which is right now created remotely, to create a local copy of that. So the git checkout command is actually to switch between different branches or commit to access a specific code snapshot. Git add, on the other hand, state changes to include them into the next commit. Whereas the git status command is actually used to check the current status of your repository, including modified files and staged changes. Git commit creates a new commit to save the changes made to the code base, whereas the git push command is actually to upload local commits to the remote repository, making them available for others. During this process, if there are any conflicts, that can also be handled. But getting deep into the Git is out of scope for this. While working on the course, we will interact with most of these commands. So since we have already created a repository, so let's see it in action and actually clone a repository. So to clone this repository, we will use this link. To get to this link, you just have to click to repos, and within repos, you will click files, and then you will see this link. You can copy this link, and then you can right click, get into the PowerShell, and use a git clone command. Git clone, and paste this link, and it will create a local copy of the remote branch. So the first time you're going to do it, it will ask for authentication. So we are going to log in with our account. Okay, so we have now just cloned our repository. So let's create an empty file here. So let's create an empty file, call it the file, and let's put in this is just the test. So now let's use a git status command to check the status of this repository. And you will see that a new file is added locally. So to commit this, we are going to use the add command. So we are going to do git add dot. So what this command has done is that it has staged all of our changes. So we are going to use git commit command. We're going to give some message. This is the first commit. I think this has to be in quotes if I'm not wrong. Okay. And then these changes are now committed locally, and to push it to the server, we are going to use git push command. So everything that was done locally is now pushed to the server. So if we come here and look at our files, we will see that there is a file called the file.txt, and this is our code.